Saturday, April 5th, Cooley Pro Wrestling and Delta Sigma Phi return to the UWL Cartwright Center for Blood, Sweat, and Cash. Check out the main event as Freedom Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion CJ O'Doyle defends his title against former WWE, ECW, TNA superstar Stevie Richards. Plus, there's six-man tag team action as Livewire teams up with Gregory Iron and former WWE, TNA superstar Zach Gowen to face the team of Chief Atakula Kula and Revelation. Student tickets are $5 and general admission is $10. Doors open at 6:30, bell time at 7. Special meet and greet with the superstars is at 5:30 for just an extra $5. It's Cooley Pro Wrestling and Delta Sigma Phi presenting Blood, Sweat, and Cash.
Welcome back to Profile. This is Alex Stoffregen. I'm here with Alex Riley. And
two Alexes.
Yeah,
I love it.
I know.
It's a great show. I
think that we're going to go some places with this interview. I'm really excited to talk about Blood, Sweat, and Cash. It is
that makes two of us.
Yeah, it's like this wrestling event, correct? Put on by Delta Sigma Phi, the fraternity. You want to tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, definitely. First, talking about Delta Sigma Phi, we're one of 5 social fraternities here on the campus. This is an event that we did last year. The event was called Crushing Cerebral Palsy, and we did that because one of the fraternity men in our chapter, he had a brother with cerebral palsy. So we did that to kind of fight against cerebral palsy in a matter of speaking. We did it this year for our national philanthropy, which is the American Red Cross. Blood, Sweat, and Cash is actually the name of our national campaign, actually, for the fraternity. Basically, the concept is that we want to be donating more blood to the American Red Cross. We want to be sweating by getting all those service hours in, and then, cash, of course, funding the American Red Cross, getting the good cause out there. And this wrestling event, as we mentioned, figured it was something unique to bring to the campus. We figured we could have done a walk, we could have done a blood drive or something like that, but we figured, you know what, we're going to take it a step more, 2 steps more, and we're going to do this one.
Yeah, that's really great. I haven't been to any kind of wrestling event like that, so I'd be interested to see, especially on campus. It's cool that you guys are doing that. It's going to be in Valhalla? Correct?
Yeah, it's going to be in Valhalla. And one thing to remember, too, about any wrestling event is that you don't necessarily have to be a wrestling fan to be a part of it. I mean, I've been in the pro wrestling business for 6 years. I actually just celebrated my 6-year anniversary this past Friday, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And one thing that I always see is that I'll talk to fans, and they said, oh, this is my first time going to this show. I'm really glad that I got kicked out of the house because it was a great time. I had a lot of fun because that's the thing that a lot of people seem to forget, is that you don't have to be a fan to enjoy a wrestling show. You just have to be a person that enjoys a good time, because that's what a wrestling show is going to bring you.
Okay, cool. And I mean, you said that you have been involved with wrestling for a while, but for the people who are fans, what other well-known wrestlers will be there?
Well, we actually have 2 big names coming into there, 3 if you count the local talent as well. Well, first off, coming back for the second time to lacrosse is Gregory Iron. He's a wrestler with cerebral palsy that we had on the Crushing Cerebral Palsy show. He's coming back. He's excited to come back. I'm excited to see him. He's a great guy, great talent. We also have his tag team partner, former WWE and TNA superstar Zach Gowen, the only wrestler on this green earth that has 1 leg and still wrestles. And I don't know how it is for you when you try to hop around on 1 leg. I end up getting a nail through my foot, and trying to hop to the bathroom was pain. Imagine trying to do a 10-minute match while trying to do that. And then on top of that, if that wasn't big enough to have Zach Gowen on there, we have former WWE, ECW, TNA, WCW superstar, and that is Stevie Richards, who will be there in the main event.
Wow.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be jam-packed. I love it.
That's intense. So how much money are you guys expecting to raise from this?
Well, last year we raised about $1,800, so $1,800 to cerebral palsy. And obviously we're just hoping to get bigger and better as we do with a bigger and better show. One of the things that we noticed, too, is that with the Red Cross, as we've been getting donations, is that more people are responding to it because they're aware of the Red Cross more than they am cerebral palsy, which was one of the reasons we wanted to do that last year. It's an organization that doesn't get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
But now that we're focusing on our national philanthropy, a lot of people are familiar with it. For example, the campaign for Secretary of State, Julian Bradley, he will be there, in attendance. Hopefully, he's showed his support for it, and it just goes to show of the attention it's getting, especially with his affiliation with Freedom Pro Wrestling, where their title will be on the line. So you got to represent your company, right?
Yeah. That's really cool. So how did you get involved with wrestling then, or how did you get involved with bringing wrestling to UWL's campus?
Well, that's a great question. It's a better question than how I got into wrestling, because that's just a random story, and we'll save that for another time.
Okay, sounds good.
But getting wrestling on the campus, it was very interesting because, again, for crushing cerebral palsy, we were going to do some kind of run, walk area, but one of the things with connections to the Onalaska JCs, they had warned us there's so many things going on there. It's so hard for established organizations to get some sort of run in, let alone some just brand spanking new run. So then I was sitting there in the chapter meeting, and I was thinking, I've always wanted to do a wrestling show with my fraternity. This is what I'm going to do. And I just proposed it. Everybody seemed on board, and then we just started getting to go there. Nice. And then on top of that, it was actually quite a hassle as well, because back in 1994, for people that aren't familiar with this, I wasn't familiar with it until they warned me about it, but there was a Jello wrestling competition here on campus, and somebody got so injured they turned into a quadriplegic.
Oh my god.
So that was one of their concerns, is it something that students are going to get hurt on? But these are trained professionals. These are guys that have been in the ring for 6 months to a year, that know their craft, and then on top of that, they're so experienced, in the craft as well.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped as well for that.
So this isn't going to be like a couple of amateurs in a tub of Jello. It's going to be professional wrestling. That's cool. So will all the matches be one-on-one then, or is it going to be group fights?
No, there will be a couple one-on-one matches, okay. But on top of that, our semi-main event, for example, is a 6-man tag match, and that has Gregor Iron and Zach Allen teaming up with Toma's own Livewire, who's a big name over in Toma. He gets a lot of energy. They call himself the ultimate power source, if that helps.
Okay.
Gets any picture in your mind about his media following, and then they'll be tagging up against. They'll be teaming up. Or teaming against, excuse me, I'm so excited. There'll be Chief Adakua, who is the UIWA heavyweight champion.
Okay.
He's a champion of different affiliates in the area, sort of a territory reign. So, he goes all over the area. He'll actually be wrestling in Puerto Rico this upcoming Saturday, if you can believe that. And then on top of that, he'll be tagging with two known associates of him, Revelation, which is Sexy KC and Storm.
Okay, great. And just again, where can people purchase tickets for this event? When is it? You want to give us a gist of kind of where and when?
Well, sure. You can always get the tickets at the door. They're $5 for students with the valid ID, so make sure you have those valid IDs on you. If you don't have the IDs, it's still not expensive. It's $10. And on top of that, we have a special meet and greet an hour and a half before the show at 5:30. You can meet the big names like Stevie Richards, Zach Allen, some of your other favorite wrestlers in that area for just $5 to get in and hang out with them. And kids and under, 5 and under are free in case you can't get that babysitter that maybe backed out on you and you're like, oh, I don't want to spend money on my kid. Well, you don't have to. It's free.
Great. No, that sounds like a great way to spend the night. And it goes to a good cause, too, the Red Cross. So.
It goes to a great cause.
Great. Well, thanks for sitting down and talking with me.
My
this
pleasure.
Has been
Thank you for listening to me.
Profile. We're going to be back in just a moment after this break with a representative from the Lions Club.